Join me today for another BattleTech book review. Today, Divided We Fall by Blaine Lee Pardoe. Welcome back to those who've been here before. Welcome to those who are new to the channel. My name is Bobbie. This is the Geek Cabal channel. And today we're going to be doing another BattleTech book review. Be sure to check the links in the description to a number of other book reviews I've done already for BattleTech. The only other actual book review I've done was for Dragonlance, though. So we'll see if I get some other actual book reviews up. But for the moment, we're going through the BattleTech books as I read through them. So that brings us to today's sample, Divided We Fall by Blaine Lee Pardoe. This is another book towards the very end of the Dark Age era, building up to the Battle for Terra and the beginning of the IlClan Era. And the primary story here in this book is Clan Wolf, one of their strategists. Hang on, his name might be here on the back. Marotta, I think it's how you pronounce it, Kerensky. He's a strategist that Ulrich has been keeping an eye on for a long time, and brings him into his confidence on the impending invasion of Terra, and he notices some major flaws in the calculations, and once he brings the others around to seeing it, they realize that they're going to be undermanned. And so they're forced to consider different ways to increase their manpower. And Ulrich has a few ways. I know this from one of the other books. I actually don't think it's mentioned here. I think it's mentioned in the book I'm reading at the moment, Children of Kerensky. But he intends to bring in I believe they're called Salama warriors. They're the older warriors who haven't died in battle, but have lost somewhere along the way. And now their primary job is garrison duty, where they pray that they're attacked so they can die in glorious battle. And he feels that it's foolish to toss away a resource like that just because they might have lost once along the way. So he plans on using them heavily in the invasion, accelerating the training of the kids from the Iron Wombs and the Sibcos, things like that. But also, Marotta puts forth the suggestion of perhaps we should get Wolf's Dragoons to help us. And initially that's met with some criticism because they're mercenaries. And but they weren't always mercenaries. For those of you who don't know the history of Wolf's Dragoons, they initially were a group sent by Clan Wolf before the clan invasion. So we're talking over a century prior to when this book takes place. They were sent to gather intel on the current state of the Inner Sphere so that the clans would have an idea of what they were getting ready to invade instead of just vague assumptions from several centuries prior when they left. So I believe a few of them were trueborn, but most of them were freeborns and things like that. And so they pretend to be mercenaries, and they fought for all the great houses. And somewhere along the way, they kind of went native. And so when the clans invaded, ultimately it was the leader of Wolf's Dragoons who went to the leaders of the Inner Sphere like, hey, I'm going to lay it out for you what's happening here. Tell you who these people are and everything. And so I believe that was Jamie Wolf. So, they have a history of also betraying the clans. So anyway, Marotta convinces Ulrich Ward, and so he sends him to secure them. Now there's a catch. To make sure that no one can contest their victory by hiring mercenaries, they will have to fight as part of Clan Wolf. So under the Clan Wolf banner, not the Wolf's Dragoons banner, and all that kind of fun stuff. So he has to go and try to convince them. The main hurdle being they're under contract from House Kirita, which one of the other books I did a review on, Redemption, I believe, talks about the beginnings of that contract. So there's a few characters carried over from that, mainly General Brubaker, the leader of the Dragoons. So Murata Kerensky gets there and to the planet that they're on and tries to talk them over. There's a number of the Dragoons, although a dwindling number, who actually still have blood ties to the original Dragoons. And most of them are kind of on board for it. It's the ones that aren't related to them that are kind of hesitant. And so Murata's main bargaining chip is, well, if we don't win, Clan Jade Falcon's going to win. And Malvina Hazen hates all of you and will come for you. So, yeah. Like most of Blaine's other books, it's well written. I like all the characters. Most things in it make sense. And not a lot of huge surprises. I mean, especially now, since I know where things go in later books. Yeah, it's well written, and makes me. I'm now like one book away from getting to the actual Battle of Terra book, Hour of the Wolf. So once I get through Children of Kerensky, that'll be the next one. So I get to see how it actually all plays out. But yeah, it's a good book. So spoilers. I mean, the main spoiler is he does convince the Wolf's Dragoons to go with him. Kind of. He convinces some of them, and they engage in battle against the others because their plan is to capture General Brubaker, sue for peace long enough to leave, and hightail it. But instead, one or two of them end up getting killed, and Brubaker orders a ceasefire. They sit down and talk, and Brubaker's like, well, this is going to be terrible. You guys have been insubordinate. It's going to look bad on us. And I think it's Murata Kerensky who finally speaks up and is like, however, General, only the people in this room know what actually happened. We could say it's just a live fire training exercise. And unfortunately, someone was lost in battle. I think he goes for a slightly different version of how the guy died. And that you did, in fact, decide to break ties with House Kirita because they've already broken the contract on their end. So the argument's going to be that, Wolf's Dragoons no longer felt bound to the contract and is now basically returning to the fold. And so they come up with a plausible story, and Brubaker's like, all right, that's what we'll go with. But afterwards, any of you that are still left alive that had to do with the mutiny will face court-martial. And they'll agree to it, and that's where the book ends, with them on their way to their rendezvous point, because they're not going to be fighting against the Republic. Ulrich promised them that. He needs them to fight the Jade Falcons, because from what I understand of their plan, it's basically Devil and Stone thought, I'll invite Clan Wolf in, will crush them. That'll send the message to the other clans, don't bother. And what he didn't expect was that Ulrich let Malvina Hazen know how to get through the fortress wall also. So then the two clans could land, collectively fight the Republic, crush them, and then fight each other for the IlClan. And Devil and Stone just didn't see that coming, because that's just not how the clans fight. But he didn't realize that the clans had also learned lessons of fighting the spheroids for 100 years. So that's what you get. But overall, good book. Good, end point to what started in Redemption. This also kind of explains why the Wolf's Dragoons aren't there in Operation Damocles, because they've left. They've gone to organize to go fight on Terra. So anyway, another good book. Definitely recommend. But overall, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching. Always appreciate comments so we know how we're doing. Like, share, subscribe. All the other YouTube stuff's great too. But the comments are what really helps. So with that in mind, thank you again for watching, and we'll see you folks later.